Right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harakak Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, and blessings unto your elect. Shalom unto you. It's the brother Shaquai from the Las Vegas camp. And I was going to do a lamb back off the brother Ayash Shamat's video, which is GMS Living Waters, which is Sisters Take Heed, Beware of God complex. Okay? Because that's something that's fully established now in the earth, okay? And as we ask for the old paths, the way that the Most High has set it up from the beginning of time, it's adverse to what the Most High is all about. And as the brother was saying, he wants to go into women's liberation. So I'm going to go a little bit into it and get a couple things. And I'll try to remember to link this brother's video into the comments under this one, Lord willing, I remember. So let's start with what his video was titled, and it said on the first page he got, which was Israelite Sisterhood Real Talk. Anyway, it says it was funny. When I did the Women's Liberation Timeline, sisterhood and after. See, that's a key term to this thing, sisterhood. But you don't even know the parallels that this has. Okay, it says real questions are permitted and won't be taken down. Express yourself freely, because we are sisters. Let's edify. Okay. It says, attention, we are not under the old covenant. This part, when I read this part is real troubling to hear. Okay. And it's because you men and whatever, you women could get into this, call yourselves in the truth. And that's why the apostles at Great Millstone say there are no women in the truth. Because most women still have this vibration of women's liberation, but with an Israelite twist on it, in their spirit. Okay? It says we are not under the old covenant. What are we at right there? Okay? It says Jesus. It's hard for me to even say it. I want to say Yahushua. They said Jesus died and rose from the grave, giving effect to the new covenant. The new covenant, as the brother said in his video, will be instituted in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, we're not into that yet. And the New Testament does nothing but upgrade, if you will, the old covenant, because all the laws of the old covenant are still going to be for the Israelites. Okay, so that didn't go nowhere. It's just going to be updated once we get into the kingdom of heaven. It's an easy way to say it. It says any doctrines, including outside literature that is not sound doctrine, will be deleted. I thought you said you wasn't going to be deleted, but put these on a bit better. That is not sound doctrine will be deleted. Beware to study for yourself, because most people learn from camp doctrines. The brother went into this, man. The brother went right into this in the scripture. He went to 2 Timothy's. He went to, I believe he went to 1 Corinthians, the 14th chapter. 1 Timothy, the 2nd chapter. 1 Corinthians, the 14th chapter. Saying if she will learn anything, she will ask her husband at home. And it's funny because when we get into this, which I'm going to get into this article, it shows parallels. Besides the word sisterhood there, we're going to get in some of these. Introduction of the contraceptive pill. Okay? That came in 1961. December the 4th, okay? Contraceptive, meaning birth control. Okay, birth control. So now a woman has the ability to gallivant with different men, which goes right into Sirach, the 25th chapter and 26th chapter. Okay? Matter of fact, I will get it. Matter of fact, let me read this one to get this out the way, because this is what it's all about. Jeremiah 31, verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord Yahweh have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. The new thing that he created was allowing you women in these modern times to be higher on the totem pole, so to speak, than men, when that's not the way the totem pole was set up. And we'll get into that totem pole. Okay? But let me go to this in Sirach. This is one of the serious chapters, advising men about women. Let's start up toward the top. Let me see. Yeah, right here. Yeah. Now, the contraceptive did this. It allowed this to happen. Verse 12, it says, she will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow. Okay, that gave you license to be free. Okay, like it tells you not to give her not the ability to gad abroad. Okay, let her just be out free doing what she want to do. Nothing is more comely than a mind well instructed. Okay, and that's what's supposed to be happening here. But what do you have in today's society? You can't tell a woman nothing. Ain't no shame in my game. You can't tell me nothing. All these things, because you can connect with a woman. Y'all can become intimate, and you can put seed in there, and she have taken a pill already that she doesn't have to she still won't become pregnant. Okay, what further calling you out as a lie that we never had sex. Okay, or vice versa. And you men, hey, let's not forget, you men played into that. Now it's all that hit it and quit it, man. That's not the way the ancient world was. Okay? So let me go back, because I don't want to get too deep into any particular small moment of this. It said Married Women's Property Act. And there's a scripture on this too. Matter of fact, let me get it. I'm going to read it first. March the 25th, 1964. Says the Married Women's Property Act was first introduced in 1870. It allowed women to be the legal owners of money they earned and to inherit property. Prior to this act, anything a woman owned or earned became her husband's property when she married. Yeah, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Does that mean the man is supposed to just take her money and run? That's a pimp. That's a whoremonger. That's not what it is. Okay? This thing is about the man taking the money that's earned for the household and putting it toward the household to make sure every angle of the household was taken care of. Okay? Not just the things that the woman may feel were important. Okay? If there were multiple women within multiple wives within a household, a breadwinning woman, so to speak, wouldn't. Anyway, a woman that earned money and brought it into the house wouldn't be able to withhold that money from certain of the other wives. Okay, through jealousy and whatever other scenario that could play out. Okay, it was always about the good of the overall household. Men, women, and children. The man, women, and children, and how that's ran. Okay. And let's see. Yep. It says revisions in 1882 and in 1893 extended married women's rights. The 1964 revision allowed women to keep half of any savings they made from the allowance paid to them by their husbands. This gave women a little more financial independence. Here's a big word in this thing: independence. Study for yourself, not under your husband, but study for yourself. Right? So I guess this is for single women. Now, I don't know. I'm talking about this Israelite sisterhood, real talk. I don't know. It sounds like a foolish avenue. It's lonely women that know they're Israelites. That's what it really sounds like. Anyway, so this gave women a little more financial independence, but also provided official recognition that many women were still dependent on their husbands for their income in the first place. Let me grab a quick script to touch on that. That's in Exodus 21. Exodus 21:10. It said, if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do not these three unto her, then she shall go out free without money. She doesn't take half of what he gave her. She goes out free without money. Okay? She leaves with what she came in with. Okay? He that smite, and if he do not these three unto her, then she go out free without money. Okay? That pretty much touches on that. It wasn't all that I take half, I take him to court, child support, alimony. Wasn't all that. Women's Lib sparked all those ideas. Okay, let's go back into it. Abortion Act. This is huge. Okay, the Abortion Act. The 1967 Act legalized abortion in the UK for women who were up to 24 weeks pregnant. 2 consenting doctors had to agree that continuing the pregnancy would be harmful either to the woman's physical or mental health or to the child's physical and mental health when it was born. For you to be able to get an abortion. And let's see if I can find that meme. Where's that here? Margaret Sanger. I'll bring her up. Gotta bring the godmother of godmother of soul. gotta bring her up. Let me see. Go back on this guy. I want to read this real quick. It's supposed to be. I can't. They're not gonna let me bring it up. Let's see. This was a Margaret Sanger quote. It said, the most merciful thing that a large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it. Wow. Wow. That's crazy, Here's what abortion clinics, Planned Parenthood brought to life. That's not according to the scripture. Okay? But this is the same idea. This is part of what gave women the control of my body, my choice. Here we go. C. Everett Koop said, in my 36 years in pediatric surgery on kids, it says, I've never known one instance where the child had to be aborted to save the mother's life. But that's what they said they were doing with this. Okay, go back to that. Go back to, not that one. Where did it go? Oh, it was, Yep, let's go to this. Should have read that quick one. But this will work. Iowa State University, whatever. Margaret Sanger. It says, her birthday, who she is and all of that, was a proponent for scientific contraception, birth control, and family planning, but also a supporter of eugenics. Just look that word up, eugenics. Okay, I just basically just Googled the word eugenics. Said this is just Google. Okay, the basic dictionary word under Google. It said the study of how to arrange reproduction with the human population to increase the occurrence of heritable characteristics regarded as desirable. So basically putting people together to make them more desirable. Where that was either good-looking people with good-looking people, tall people with tall people, strong people, Basically they did that in a time of slavery here in America, putting the biggest slaves with the biggest women slaves, so they could make super slaves. You know. Anyway, it says developed largely by Sir Francis Galton as a method of improving the human race, eugenics was increasingly discredited as unscientific and racially biased during the 20th century, especially after the adoption of his doctrines by the Nazi in order to justify their treatment of Jews, disabled people, and other minority groups. Okay. Sounds nice and pleasant. Let's see about immoral. It says it is a given in discussions of genetic engineering that no sensible person can be in favor of eugenics. The main reason for this presumption is that so much horror, misery, and mayhem have been carried out in the name of eugenics in the 20th century that no person with any moral sense could think otherwise. That's whatever. I don't care about that. Let's see. Yep. Eugenic sterilization. What does it mean? Eugenics is a movement that is aimed at improving the genetic composition of the human race. That's the truth of it. It was trying to strengthen the so-called Caucasian race, or the race of the Edomites. It says historically, eugenicists advocated selective breeding to achieve their goals. And that's why you see in certain Olympics that there's, people that seem to be literally born and bred to be great at the sports that they, the events that they participate in. Let's see. Negative eugenics. Measures have included immigration restriction based on punitive eugenically undesirable traits, including race. And see, this is still speaking in code. The race that they don't want to have is you Jakes out there. Okay, they're trying to dilute our race while strengthening theirs. Okay. It says including race, nationality, and ethnicity, discouragement and prohibition of marriage and family life for those with eugenically undesirable traits, asexual segregation, sterilization, and euthanasia. So they didn't want certain people to be with other people, okay? One of the strongest family units is the Israelite family. But this sisterhood, you guys don't have the structure. Let me get the structure right quick. Do it yourself. And that's why I question if you have men at home. And if you do, why is he not telling you women to leave that type of website alone? Okay? Why are you women being rebellious toward what the scriptures actually say? But like I said, it's y'all trying to pick up on something, and you don't have a proper head guiding you. You may not have a man at all, and then you have your own ideals, and you wonder why you don't have a man. Okay, this has a lot to do with it. Anyway, verse 3 is 1 Corinthians 11:3. Matter of fact, I'll read 2 just for the word's sake. It says, "Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances, the order, as I deliver them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahushua, or the anointed. The head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahushua is the Most High." So the Most High, Yahushua, man, and then woman. Clear cut. Everybody knows that, unless you're a feminist or part of the whole women's liberation deal, or women's lib, they call it. They said what word women's lib was derogatory towards it. Whatever. So back to Marcus Sanger. Okay. Born Sanger right here. Sanger was greatly influenced by her father's political views in support of women's suffrage and tax reform, although these and other beliefs caused the family to be seen as radical in the eyes of their neighbors. Okay, so she was raised with that bull. Let me see and get to the good parts. Slum mothers. Stop it. Obscene. There was a good quote in here. In 1927 it says Sanger helped organize and spoke before the first World Population Conference at Geneva, Switzerland. She and her followers continued to lobby for freer state and federal laws on contraception and for the distribution of birth control knowledge through welfare programs, government control instead of independent control. Now you go to your enemy for the one of all things. Okay, you go further in the curses. You go down to the government to get these welfare programs versus you and your family working hard to build wealth for yourself, independent wealth for yourself, for yourselves. Okay. By 1940, the American birth control movement was operating a thriving clinic program and enjoying general acceptance by the medical profession and an increasingly favorable public attitude. People were catching on, man. It says in 1946, she helped found the International Planned Parenthood Federation. Wow. National Planned Parenthood Federation. And we should know how bad Planned Parenthood is. And you Jake women out there, man, are murderers. You know, and that's where you go to commit your murder. You go have your fun and you go kill it off. You know, so this is has ties to this Israelite sisterhood. Okay, because this is all from the same foundation. Let me go on to the other. Okay, back in this, in the timeline. Feminist strike in 1968. Barbara Castle becomes the first Secretary of State. We just had because of this, we just had the first transgender. Okay, government official. Okay, I forgot her name, its name or whatever. Youngest MP. Find a good one. Leads clothing workers strike. Miss World protests for the Miss World. Wow. Open. Let me see. Conferences. Manchester, first edition. Spare Rib. Red Flag Collective. Night Cleaner strike. Look at all these strikes women went on because women became during the I believe it was World War II. A lot of women picked up the jobs from the industrial complex that men that left those factory jobs and went into the war. So a lot of women had to pick that up and go into that type of work. Okay. First rape crisis formed in the UK in 1973. Okay. And here at Great Millstone, we understand how to judge rape. They teach you how to judge rape right in the scriptures, right in Deuteronomy. I'm not going to it, but it's in Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter. Let me see. Brixton Black Women's Group is formed. Yeah, and that's what they did, man. They got you Israelite women, you so-called Negro women. They got y'all to join in on this movement because this was in that other article I couldn't find it, but this was a Confederate movement, you know, to the black rights, the civil rights movement. Okay, Black Power, and they said something else. It was all around the same time, so they just begin to blend the lines with this whole thing. Okay, this is no different than what you're seeing in this whole Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, and then now it's Trans Lives Matter. Okay, that's part of the movement. This all has to do with that same spirit. Okay, National Women's Aid Federation, like Sexual Discrimination Act of 1975. I read that the Sex Discrimination Act was passed to render unlawful certain kinds of sex discrimination and discrimination on the grounds of marriage, and established a commission with the function of working toward the elimination of such discrimination and promoting equality of opportunity between men and women generally and for related purposes. Leslie Abdallah, I'm not sure how you say that, talks about open sex discrimination in the workplace before the legislation. And Sue Lopez discusses the case of 11-year-old Teresa Bennett, who was banned from playing football and took her case to court under the sex discrimination legislation. I gotta tell the Dave Chappelle joke. He said, if men and women were equal, there would only be an NBA and not a WNBA. Okay? He said, or LeBron James could change his gender to become a woman and score 85 points a game or something to that effect. You know, and then the joke gets even funny after that for anybody that knows that joke. Okay, so moving on. Even International Woman of the Year, Employment Protection Act. All these things are all linked to this. Okay. Matrimonial Proceeding. Look, I gotta read this. 1976 Domestic Violence and Matrimonial Proceedings Act. This act enabled married women to obtain a court order against their violent husbands without divorce or separation proceedings. Wow. So it gives the government ability to step in into your personal matrimonial situations. Whether or not he owned it or tenancy was in his name, problems arose because this protection did not apply to unmarried women. Wow. But we see where this is going. This all, and I'm going to stop it with here because they're only at the 70s. And this thing just keeps going of all the timeline things that happen. But what this began to do is let women put 911 on speed dial, man. Okay, and the government can now come in and break it down. I believe the brother read Isaiah the 32nd chapter, and if not, to brief you about what it was going on in around the 8th, 9th verse in that chapter, it was talking about the vintage shall fail. The things that are set up now is gonna fail. Okay, all your government aid and all that's gonna collapse. Okay, all of these benefits, so to speak, that you guys got from this women's liberation movement, all that's gonna be taken away. Okay, so when your husband say no or yes, you got to roll with that. Okay? Thus saith the Bible. And if you don't know where that's at, it's in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Your desires to be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Okay? And for you women, especially women that knows you're Israelites, House of Commons in 87, you women should understand that the way that you've been living under this type of society has not worked. Look at your mothers and grandmothers. That way has not worked. Okay? When they were into that same spirit. Now, if they were obedient under their husband, even there was always a little bit of shit talk back and forth, you know, in the generations before ours. But when they stuck together and worked it out and let our fathers and grandfathers run the household, the family kept together and kept rolling. Okay? It kept going. All right? That was in 88, so let's get out of that. I looked up a few things, and that to keep this concise and not going too far and too deep into it. When you really look into this women's liberation movement, that independent um, nature of a woman is anti-biblical. You see that Margaret Sanger, Margaret Thatcher, um, Princess Diana, they start naming all these other women all the way up to Hillary Clinton, and I'm sure they're gonna put um, Kamala Harris or whatever up on that list as well. Okay, what they just want to do is let women be free to do whatever they want to do. And the scriptures tell you what men should be doing and what women should be doing. Here's particularly this one I quoted in Genesis the 3rd chapter. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, and in sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. Very painful situation to bring forth children. And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Okay? And he shall rule over thee. Now, when we go to Isaiah, 3rd chapter, about the 12th verse or so. Yep, let's go up a little bit. Let me see. I think it was 12. Yep, I'll let it be there. Isaiah 3:12. As for my people, children are their oppressors. A younger, more insignificant race of people are our oppressors, and women rule over them. And our women have compassed the man. They rule over us. Okay, that's what's going on generally with the Israelites in the 20th and 21st century. The women are running the household. Their big mama tells the whole family what's about to go down. Abuelita, has the final say, so on and so forth, no matter what man is in the mix. Okay? They would lead thee, cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. What path? The old paths, man. The way of the righteous path. Okay? And this chapter continues to go in on 2/3 women. So the brother's video is just trying to warn you to stay away from that mentality that the 2/3 women go to. Understand what your role is and what you should be doing. I'm going to go to this one real quick. Let's go to, where am I going? Okay, yeah. And here in the New Testament, in the book of Luke, is Yahushua talking about the situation with women. Because it says, and it came to pass, as he spake these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bare thee, and the paps which thou hast sucked. Speaking about Mary, bless Mary. Hey, that spirit is off. That spirit goes right into the idol worship of Mary. It never anywhere said that she was to be worshipped. And this is directly talking about worshiping Mary, worshiping matriarchs and women. Okay, he said, but he said, yea, rather, blessed are they that hear the word of the Most High and keep it. Okay, don't worry about blessing women, those that hear the word of the Most High and keep it. Okay, where am I gonna go? Yep, Job 39. I'm sure a lot of you heard this, but this is why you don't do that. There, women aren't for the position of honor like that. The honor is how her family and her household is perceived, how her kids grow, not in the worshiping her because she looks the best, she the prettiest, she the like today, man. All these female rappers and female entertainers and famous women and all that, and it's not about that mentality. Women were invisible, so to speak, to everyone but their husbands and their children. Okay, and that was a powerful role that's coming back to the earth, whether you women like it or not. Job 39, and I'm gonna start at 16. And the reason I'm reading this is because it's not meant for you to be getting your own precepts and lining them up, doing your own research that way. Yeah, go look it up, but you're gonna realize there are camps out there that have the truth. That you can find the answers for, and they said, we're the ones supposed to be in control. Hey, why not the Spirit, the Bible be in control? Okay? When Paul broke down, I read it already in 1 Corinthians 11, the ordinance of it, man, the way it's supposed to go. It says, Job 39:16, she is hardened against her young ones, as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear. And that's how women in this time has now been to develop their children, as if they didn't love their own kids, man. How do you know? It goes into that woman's lib. That all ties into this thing. Whether you love your children and you'll have children and you'll pick good baby daddies or whatever you want to do, pick good husbands, man. Pick men that fear the Lord. Okay, but if you've already chosen a man, that's who you with, introduce this to him and pray the Lord opens him up to it. Okay, and vice versa for the men and the women that are not believing. Verse 17, here's the point. It says, because the Most High have not deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted to her understanding. So it's a reason why he put men and women on a certain level, okay? That on the totem pole. That's reason so everybody has their use, has their what they bring to the table of the full structure. Okay, the men have the wisdom and the understanding. Now it's hard to find them in the 2/3 men out there, but there are a lot of men that do have wisdom and understanding of things that can guide a household, that can guide a woman to help the family flourish. Okay, it says what time. No, that was the point right there. Yep, it said what time she lifted up herself on high, she scorned the horse and his rider. She lifted herself up and did give power to them that sit in the power seat. Okay, it took the power from the man, and that's that's what we see today. And we also see the degeneracy of what our children look like because they're raised by single parents, single mothers particularly, and dads that are of no value without the Spirit of the Most High on them to guide the family. We see what's happening. Okay, that's why the Most High has to come down and destroy it. Well, send his son down to destroy this place. All right. I'm gonna get a couple good ones in them same chapters we were talking about. Then I'll close out. I'm going to Sirach 25. No, I'm gonna go to 26 where I went earlier. 26, and we'll start at the top. Let's see. Yeah. Sirach 26:1. Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. A good wife is a portion which shall be given to the portion of them that fear the Lord. Whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart toward the Lord Yahweh, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. Okay, let me jump down and get some other good ones. That's about virtuous women. This is a lot about bad women right here. Okay, which a lot of this is the same spirit that traits are in this Israelite sisterhood thing that are staples in women's liberation. Okay, staples. Verse 14. No, let me start at 13. Yep, it says, the grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion, shutting her mouth, will fatten his bones. The silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing too much worth as a mind well instructed. There's nothing much more worth that, man, than a mind well instructed. And where do we get the instruction? Where do these women get the instruction from? The instruction of her husband. Where do the men get the instruction from? Through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay, things that need to be done, just knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. What's going on in the household, what's going on in your family, okay, and working as a team to get it done. Okay. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. She's content with things, man. She ain't trying to see if the grass is greener on the other side. That's what that birth control Planned Parenthood did. Okay, that contraceptive. It took the responsibility away from the women to where they can go be do without wilt and then with no consequence, no accountability, no responsibility. Okay, but it did it for the men also. Okay. Yeah, I mean, man, there's so many good ones in here, as well as bad. Now let's go to the one that all women should know, Proverbs, the last chapter, 31, start around 10. It says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband do safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Now, come on now. We see Meg the Stallion getting shot and all of that, man. I can't keep up with these youngsters doing this stuff, man. I can't. Too much folly. Okay? In this chapter, as I'm sure plenty of women have read, okay, should be trying to live by this. But the breakdown of it should be a little more acutely understood, meaning you need to be humble to your husband, and he needs to be humble to the Lord. And then all the way, we know the Lord is humble to the Most High, but that'll reciprocate all the way back down. Okay? Let me see here. A lot of analogies in this, but, saying the woman goes above and beyond for her family. Okay? She goes above and beyond for her husband. She doesn't put anything out there that'll have him in shame. Okay? Yeah, so that should be a chapter that women are just into. I want to read the virtuous part because both of those chapters start with virtuous. Yeah, if you want to know how to be a good woman, this sisterhood real talk ain't it. It's talking about discretion. Okay, if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home. Let's edify. Yeah, this is not for y'all to be edifying back and forth. Where's the elder woman that have a husband that can instruct her, that has instructed her how to teach these younger women, about what the scriptures actually say for women to deal with? Because like the brother said in his video, Shaman said in his video, this is, certain parts of this is for the men to have to figure out and then pass it down to the woman to do. Okay? That's the way the totem pole is set up. Okay, it's not for you women just to be out there doing what you feel is right, what you want to do. Okay? And y'all got the breakdown. The prophesying and the teaching part are for the men. All right? But check this brother's video out, man. I'm going to remember to put it when I upload it, but it's a very good video. So I'm hoping that just shed a little more light on the situation about the women's liberation movement and how they took away the structure, the desire of a woman from her husband. She took that desire away from her husband and the ability for him to rule over her. Now, does that mean rule over wickedness? No, we were supposed to always rule in righteousness as Israelite men. Okay, against our enemies, against our slaves, and especially against our household, or with our households, and our wives and sons and daughters. Okay, so Lord willing, this was edifying. Check these chapters out. Watch the brother's video. And Women's Lib was a very demonic time, demonic vibration that has been pushed out amongst our people. They connected them from because it was during the same time as the civil rights movement for so-called Negroes. So they mixed that black power movement with the women's liberation movement, the same as they're doing again now, because they know it works with Black Lives Matter and the Trans Lives Matter and Gay Lives Matter and Black Women's Rights Matter. All of those things have gone hand in hand. Okay, showing you that Margaret Sanger and all the and Margaret Thatcher and all these women's liberation situations, and that vibration is still going on within people that's supposed to be in the fold. Okay, that's not pleasing unto the Heavenly Father. Okay, that's pride. Okay. Anyway, so Lord willing, this was edifying. I just want to kind laying back off what the brother had. He put a solid lesson out there, and it just sparked me through the spirit to add a little bit on top of it. But he hit all the points. So with that, I'm going to close out, giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone. And greetings, salutations, and blessings unto the elect. Shalom.